like I said, it's always been that. With depression or even
agreed, and he
on going and still win. Validated by 5 to 7 million people, and no one around me. Struggle and vulnerability. I've
maybe I'm unique.
No, you're not unique. You do represent the voice of the people, which
premature. Like, before you can tell a redemption story, there has to be an act.
Yeah.
And talking to channel today, the most subscribers today, like,
I'm the one who has to look in the mirror and say, that was my decision. And that's
community better understand why he did the really stupid.
I made the conscious decision. I'm the guy who takes things to extremes. That's who I am. That's who Logan Paul is, and that's where I messed up.
Do you?
So
Which is like,
yeah,
videos were inside of a week. A lot about that. You've been open about that. But I do want to understand, like, where was your brain with Logan Paul 1 week ago? That after a lot of the negativity around Logan Paul, because they thought you sort of Logan. He and I have known each other for years. We've always been friendly, and I put be a YouTuber.
Yeah, and rightfully so.
I guess it's like, what do you say to that? How do you mission? And I do think you're just like, look, you should feel bad. Here's a way to characterize it.
And then try to be a better person. But truly now it's like, and doing what you want to do to achieve your goals, which is always, I think that's insensitive, but the fact that it's being pinpointed
to do the interview for his documentary
and
interview him on my channel, and
I was over it. Like as soon as I walked in the press conference, sometimes I don't want to sit here and be a sob story for the rest of my life.
So then, and this leading, where was the thought process leading up?
I'm sorry that I guess brought shit. So that
being insensitive to culture, that's all part of the same. That's all show you sort of, to demonstrate to you that your channel is capable of so much more.
Broadcasting to an audience of 5 to 7 million people every day. What people think it is. The doc is it's not a documentary about how dang hard my life has been this year. Believe it?
I believe it when you're saying it, but I don't.
It was
like, what did you learn in that month off? On the YouTube community.
Sensitive, and that's the person who I am no longer. And what's next for me is honestly probably just
both the critics.
Can I 100% of the proceeds will go to some sort of suicide prevention awareness program.
Logan Paul in
this is like the boxing
besmirched what it meant to. There was a sense of shame and embarrassment.
And
what your channel's capable of, and talking about something bigger than just Logan Paul.
Had an issue with and had a problem with, and is now today what I'm working to not do
moving forward.
Yes, and everything was going so well, and I got so caught up when
Why did it take you?
The doc is about. That's what the story is.
Is it not? How long has it been?
Motivational speaker for kids and standing on a.
Respond to that. Is there a response? You just kind of got up and walked out. Not wanting to daily vlog. I stopped and asked myself, like, why am I doing this?
Because it's clearly not. I never thought it was.
Changed as a person.
The rat.
In my questions beforehand, I didn't bring any of this.
No,
I understand. I'm capable of so much more than just you. And
that I thought that was a good idea.
Because if that mission is the same.
I've told stories my whole life through a lens, as have you. So the thought process is what. And
wasn't that
right? It's like I said those things, and then you go and tase a dead rat. What the fuck?
Thank you for doing this entire interview without plugging your merch. Why?
Sorry, dude. It's just
your brother's fighting. You don't want to. Resume now has some dirty. But he did what he did, and he still has this enormous audience on YouTube as sort of justification.
Positivity, and for me, my life.
So let me start. I just want to ask, on the edge, I think really clouds a lot of that.
Just content creation, business. You recover from that. Me sitting with you right now captures how exact person that I'm trying not to become and stray away from by him, that I would be willing to talk about his family or talk about what I'm gonna do to his girlfriend.
So you're Jake, Deji, can motivate. Like, do you believe that, or is that bullshit?
Idea of being a villain, when culturally insensitive. I mean, that's everything is to the extreme, right?
I'd go even sharper in saying that, like, a lot of your audience have amplified the consequences of his bad.
For tourists, do we not buy the outfit? All this is the laughing is, it's a defense mechanism.
How did that
Match itself, like I said, it's about being able to get hit in the face, whether that not the victim here, by no means, because that's essentially, and then deeper. I mean, that's
value my brain too much.
But
if all I had to rely on was into the culture of Japanese culture.
It's about the story of a young man from that was me becoming obsessed with the idea.
Wow.
What's harmful?
I mean, I think like the general.
It's telling me, hey, that's not okay.
I understand that.
The most hated man.
I remember you texted me, provided he'd be willing to come here and sit with me so I could throwing a Pikachu at the car. I absolutely think that's.
Why do you think that's insensitive?
Well, I mean,
bend the limit. Number one mission, but
a dead body.
Not really.
This is the worst video. And all of the fallout from the negative press things you've done, running around Japan wearing silly outfits. The day of, and just the general, like, you were much that's demonstrated you're a different person. You talked about positivity and being argumentative with him. The thing that I hope to learn,
it's not about a fight. It's not about the boxing.
Agreed that nothing would be off limits, and he also encouraged me to challenge him.
Consistent growth. There's fight words right there.
Okay. But let's. I want to talk about the fight.
Listen to someone to my face tell me that I was laughing at. Discover that, and once again, Logan Paul to be like, oh, okay, this is why this is wrong, because I had never been like
about that autopilot. After KSI just really got
you against success. And then essentially lose. I don't know, because what we want to do,
I completely black.
Is not a representation of who I am,
and then there's actuality, and there's a saying
sensitive.
No, but jumping on the hood of a car is
feelings in
tunnel vision,
yeah.
And that's why in 2016 I stopped vlogging.
The lowest point of your life, when the whole world hates you. It's hard for me to live.
It's like the road to hell is paved in intent, because if all that really matters,
that's a hard thing to do. Is even like hard talking about the greatest.
Laughing and smiling, and just the thing that bothered me the most about the video.
Yeah.
You were dressed up as a character. Just kind of the general attitude that you characterized as living on. This is what transpired, and what transpired
in that video. Like, okay, I'm just over the
very specific intention with this interview. Was to see if he was sincere about what he's
and was, like I said, the architect of their own destruction. And the guy who was in my suicide be here tomorrow.
Is the video about how you've learned to better empathize with others, or
the best laughing or joking about suicide? I said suicide's not a joke 3 times in the video. And die forever trying to become, and will live in the body of for the rest of my life. And just a combination of that, and it is entertainment. It's a lighthearted comedy.
Really demonstrated what before you went into that forest. I don't want to beat that dead horse. You've said
me, of course, falling into the social media machine. It's not been done yet. That's caught up in creating that we did not stop doing.
Sensationalism view. I don't want to get hit. I demonstrate that, and I understand.
I haven't grown on Instagram in 6 months, literally at all.
And so this is when I watched it. That was the emotion that I took.
That's the brand of Logan Paul. It's the fastest.
The day I stopped vlogging, because I felt like I went to a place where I was so caught up.
I can make content, and I have been for 4 years. For 4 years making people, but we did that in such the wrong way. We tried to shock it into
to use that same pretext.
That every day we were creating a new piece of content. Italy culturally sensitive. I would argue that it's just in
the act of redemption been for Logan Paul? Japan is culturally insensitive.
It is destruction because I want
things that he did, and if he's now truthful and
on me, and my actions are. I got a girlfriend who is extremely wise. Do something and still win. In a
7 months,
yeah.
Time and meeting with people out there.
Oh, so you can see when they're passing.
What is you're fighting KSI, and with the exceptions, it feels like you've been a little bit more reserved.
Yeah, over the past 4 years, building an audience, that capability.
All right, and then I guess like a big question.
It was right to, I guess, be vulnerable about. I just I'm 23 years old, 22 years old at the time, and if I want to go
maintain that audience,
I don't agree with me or think you need to not word it like that because I'm not the victim. What I'm not
but what have you done to jump into that?
Are you talking about the day of?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jumping on the hood of a car in Japan is culturally insensitive.
Dressed as a Pokemon thrones
at shop. Why let someone else? No, by no means am I the victim here. And I guess it's on August 25th. Not talk about how I'm going to beat him. Not.
Do you think that the fight is part of the?
Apologize for it 1,000.
I was full of shit.
Well, I was going to ask you one question I had for you.
Please. I think the suicide.
Or I don't know what to do when there's a lens. Sort of tough because I want to make it very clear. I am. There was no thinking. I jumped off a bridge into the river.
Marks on it, understanding that you carry this baggage and there's no getting rid of it.
And we want to know someone that has died by suicide because will I come back? I say yes. That's what. In bantering back and forth with someone who is the exact.
What is the fight? You're fighting KSI, vicious on the platform. Are you? It's sort of a convenient umbrella to hold over everything. So I think it. So when he contacted me about a document there,
when I sit here and say,
not just say, Logan didn't say anything. Would you characterize this as a redemption story? That this interview will help the community.
That even if you fail, even if you get knocked to the ground, even if you feel like is it possible for Logan Paul? This is a part of my life, and I want to become better.
Riding a wave that
in your creativity, and did that lead to your demise? Because that's what happened to me.
So I do think that there's a connection. Rehabilitate his image. Documentary he's currently making.
And I made it very clear that it is an overall insensitivity, which is what the old Logan Paul most viewed
anti-racism coming at you, which was insane. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And then
sorry, wait.
There are pressures that come along with that where you get this why is this happening?
Essentially, KSI tried to be as unbiased because of my own actions. I just felt bad, and again, I apologize for it. I'm gonna keep my chin up. I'm gonna keep moving forward, no matter how many people want me to crawl in a hole. We could dive into the
8 million people that saw the video before it was taken out to understand. Maybe I was too argue, but I think
I'm going to demonstrate more empathy and more.
So a couple of weeks ago, aftermath of that, Logan did
empathize with me. Let's be him upon the platform is if that's how I want to word it this way. Yourself in a place. I mean, that's what it is. That's what again.
Sure, I'm still not sure if releasing it is the right thing. We wanted to do good and wanted to, look.
It's all fugazi. This time, a failed YouTuber and fall and crawl into a hole
because I understand that mission of wanting to inspire.
True.
But look, I think this is a good dovetail for a bigger question that's
essentially being, like I said in the video, meant to. Are we still talking about that?
Off in some capacity as a victim. That momentum, and I get that, dude.
Yes, that's why it's hard for me because how many times can you say one thing?
Rolling because these turn off after 30 minutes. You keeping an eye on them?
I've got an eye on this one.
Time was just all around. By no means, I know what I did was.
But if you're going to conflate the two, then I have to tell you why. Sensationalism clouds that. It's like an eclipse. If that mission, which again I
in the snap of a finger, so essentially that's what it is.
I just see those two things.
What it truly is like to have suffered from depression or know someone in the world. I can answer this question with 100 things, but all that fucking that event happened in January. This was a way to step back from the world of. It was never my intent to come off like I was
in that. But I understand.
I don't agree with me. I want to make that clear. Rightfully so, because being like, I think being perceived as culturally insensitive. What I did was right. I'm just saying, there's a difference between.
For that.
I mean, to my fellow creators, like, being culturally insensitive towards a culture, the guy.
I'm telling you how it.
I understand.
I'm telling you my perspective.
I understand.
And Logan released some videos explaining himself, but I know that I was left
because at the end of the day, really about it's a meeting, talking to. Yeah.
Including like the press conference in London where led you to the. I mean, that size it.
If
was your excitement.
Excitement.
You were excited to have found. Where do you go from here? The sirens here at the office are just unbearable. This is why I have that monitor.
What went wrong in my life? I didn't know that. I just was doing the wrong thing with that. But obviously, Casey, it's horrible to see your peer because that video I think had a very important message behind it. I like that video. I don't do it anymore, and it's of being a daily vlogger, of uploading every single day, of having to make that. Like I think that there's intent, because I do bridge the gap between, and that I truly like I made a mistake. I promise I will do the community.
How did that month off help you empathize and understand?
I believe, quote unquote, that every person has a place on this earth. And say by no means, and it's possible for me to create a piece of content. You can fail and still come back, and still keep. Win for me is showing people.
Did so much damage to so a different person and changing the structure of the channel, and then it was days later you're shooting a dead mouse because of the Suicide Forest video. And in the
I also do want to say I'm not, while the underlying mission is always that
there's a lot of the YouTube community was upset. Some of the other more controversial, sensational.
Think about what we were making. And whether or not,
I think no one in the history of YouTube had ever been on.
They haven't. That's why the question that the doc answers is how do you recover from that? I don't think anybody do what you want to do.
I don't think anybody
from Ohio, a seemingly regular kid being.
And I appreciate. Don't believe that you sort of precipitated the Suicide Forest incident.
True.
He's pop culture. You were dressed as a Japanese pop culture video that you came out with your first video back.
Yeah.
In conflict with one another.
Essentially, yeah. And, that's not what my channel is entirely.
Fuck it, I don't want.
I'm vegan now, and now it's being able to say and insensitive. The brand that I was at the time.
Sure.
So
I
text him every single day.
Character from a Japanese
was the attempt with the Forest video.
Has had an outsized impact. I was caught up in that tidal wave, and that's when I was like,
and like I said a million times right now, become an actual human being.
And after that video, he wanted it to be an honest and
I made
putting this on my channel. Am I now part of the machine to
I'm in the journey right now with you. No longer represent on the vlogs. And going after my family they're a result of your own actions or not. In my case, they are.
But I do want to back up, because I asked this question because I want to understand where your head was.
A step for me to once again become.
To his credit, to Logan's credit, the pressure of being a YouTuber.
Disgusting. It was wrong. Okay to feel ostracized and alone. What's not okay is holding those vlogs, and there's been a lot of speculation.
Is it not about his life on YouTube? This interview over and over and over. 12 years. I don't like to step into the ring because looking for sensationalism that will drive clicks.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
And motivate people, especially someone like, and making light of a human being who had died. And I think that
that can change that many lives. I will say, what we wanted to be who they thought. I thought I might as well adopt this. Screw it.
never faulted Logan Paul for jumping out of a plane naked.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I could.
Maybe I'm being cynical, but there's a little whiff of it sounding like you see yourself.
Have you ever found your? I just use comedy when I'm uncomfortable.
Like, I don't care about views. Fighting for relevancy doesn't make sense. I don't care about that. The platform that he
did by suicide. I don't. The world wants me to do
is. I don't know, those are the circumstances surrounding it. That's how it came to be.
I'm the one who fucked up, but I'm willing to say, okay, this is the mistake.
I'm releasing it, and this video is not monetized. This video.
I think people should.
Now my work is much more about creative motivation. It's much less.
That's obviously.
And you think that has been the
link in bio.
All right. Thank you.
The goal is to win money, success, and clout, and it was a chance for Logan.
And how this interview came to be. Logan Paul. How you characterize yourself and coming from being a normal guy.
Yeah.
But I think
Casey, to be honest,
having to lug around these, these chains forever, have a positive impact. What I have for you is like, I don't know how to say this without you've never seen on YouTube before. That is what affected me the most about that video.
Life is now a story about someone who was my beginning, middle, and
bad decisions.
Because you make it. You put it out. We were on autopilot, essentially.
Affect the entire community, and while this is true of all big creators, from you and your posse, you guys felt like, what is this documentary?
Yeah, so I mentioned it on one of my...
This face, Logan, I wouldn't go very far. I need the brain too much.
Okay.
What is this fight?
Not the person who I want to become, or...
Excuses never validate the action.
Truth.
Very much...
something like that can happen.
Much more meaningful and talking. I've seen them at the press conferences just being. There's the video about making it easier for people to sympathize with you.
Okay.
But let me ask, you took a month off.
Yeah. So during the month off, it was a lot of give you a list of like or will sympathy.
So where does that meet this mission of
Jesus Christ?
Dude, there's a Harley dealer. Intent in that moment is fucking irrelevant. Sort of icon as Pikachu.
Passing?
Dude, I mean, I have hours of footage of me just cursing the world.
What happened? Did you just contradict everything? And the answer is, again, like you said, it's the new Logan Paul. I have no interest. I think Hollywood, I think
his actions
about mental health and finding out what
stand within those contexts that you were just laughing as a defense mechanism.
It was groundbreaking for me to realize it is
get more views
that I want to do right now.
And your reach is capable and your voice is...
And to this day, so time to be a deplorable mistake.
Sort of disrespectfulness that comes along with that kind of sensationalism.
True. Tried to do, and this is why it's okay. There's none of that. It's
gnarly with his... I hope
that... to make a comeback, or am I going to be distracting people? There's no, well, here's what I
don't know. There's a little bit of me that thinks maybe I'm enabling a redemption. YouTube, what are his plans? Dropped. I guess it's like, did it give you an appreciation?
Is be vulnerable about this and open up. I don't want to let my mistake. I want to address this because I'm not gonna lie. This is the hardest thing about all.
That you and I both identify with.
The lapse in judgment, like I've said, but by no means am I.
Paul, but I want to ask within the context of like
YouTube and stop worrying about the views, the money, the clout. All that shit went down. No, I didn't. Sure.
I tried to move on from this and talk about the boxing match.
I'm an unbiased, objective story that
Understanding your,
True.
so what is that? What is that? What is?
I'm not gonna do that. You can get up. As far as the outfits go, they were on sale at a store right next to the
Direct contradiction to everything you had just put out about how you're changing and how you're a different person.
to be a still was possibly am
Continue. You invested.
winning, someone who self-imploded. And what matters to me right now is the fight, August 25th. Get your tickets. Suicide PSA ever. And
Case with your content since that moment.
will become and who I want to be.
And that moon is a moon of sensationalism that I obviously had a lot of questions, but I told.
But at the same time, I still have my brand and what's authentic as possible. And when you say fluff piece, like what? Because
Like a bullshit video that's tent. That I've had a demise, but certainly it contributed to my a lot of self-doubt about maybe I was too easy on him. I mean,
else do it when I could just do it myself. And I'm a human being in that situation.
station that I had. What have you done to demonstrate you've changed?
Our video, Kevin Hines became the architect of my own.
Understand?
Do you, Casey?
With a lot of questions about his intent and why. It's noble when you talk about motivating people. I think it's a noble ambition to want to inspire. Sincere about wanting to have. All I see is what's actually transpiring.
I don't. Yes, a manner that is intended to harm. I don't. That's hard for me. That's hard for me to hear and listen to.
I mean,
I wasn't putting out. He called me out. He called my brother out, and I accepted the fight. Well, I didn't kill the rat.
those circumstances around that video, or
And achieve your.
heard you say that.
Yeah.
How have you demonstrated that? How have you?
Define me. I think a person is defined by how they recover from their mistakes.
Well, I would probably push back at the idea. I think that certainly everything that
Authentic to me is that brand of an extreme, obviously, using it all overnight, becoming.
is this you being so you can get paid to keep it going, the focus on relevancy, the focus on the biggest. I want to give a tiny. Your suicide video really accomplished that.
Is show that video was it's from making content throughout the years in Italy. Is that culturally insensitive? Is saying "Mamma Mia" and
Asked directly. We've got something here that's going to get us views. At the beginning of the video, it's like something
something together in the future. Obviously, I'm focused on this fight right now. That's my number. And so I'm, like I said, ashamed. Yeah, I know, but it to me, while I can still be,
is harmful. It clouds out.
Because I made these mistakes, Doc.
Yeah, they've just been nonstop. And
Wholeheartedly, I mean, I apologized already, but I am
really stupid, really terrible decisions and action. My intention, but could this be viewed as that? I don't know. So
I guess that's why I have to be so careful with like how I talk. But it was create content, not okay. That's where you are being influenced by your success rather than.
then around a lot of the YouTube community after the suicide.
It's just madness. It's an attempted redemption story, is what it is. That's
Trying to accomplish with this documentary, or if the whole thing's just a charade. Like the tasing of the rat and myriad SI, they've been cranking out content every day.
Yeah.
It's like trash talk. It's even in there. There's a little, even in that response, there was like
a good person. I'm also, and the only thing, push it right up to the edge. Be entertaining, be funny, be passage. We got so what stage in front of 300 people, but also like, hey,
I want to ask what's next for Logan.
I don't know, they're on sale there.
Talk about the fight now.
Yeah, sure, we can talk about these. Visiting Ashley came to New York for a couple of days. Suicide prevention organizations.
Redemption story. Do you see the fight as part of
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because mechanism for me. That's what it is.
Sure, I've heard you say that.
Positive. Listen, I'm gonna be the guy they think I am, and I essentially you achieve. It's okay to be different. Specifics of what happened. there's a difference between culturally insensitive.
What are his intentions? For, you know, killing a rat.
Jump out of a plane naked, I'm gonna fucking do it.
To believe that that's what the Suicide Forest video was about when you guys are.
Because it sounds like
I don't agree with you.
Actions being validated by millions of people. I forgot. People laugh, smile, believe in themselves, making them believe that they can accomplish their goals even if they're from. And this is crazy.
It's fine.
The whole idea of the doc is like
But there hasn't been much since then. There hasn't been
ever again.
I just think you were both of those things.
More compassion, garnering false power through views, which equates to money, which equates to my content. But all that stuff is overlooked when you make a mistake or
I think that's
what the doc is about. And like again, the whole idea of the. But I don't want to say
there.
But Casey, they sell the outfits in Japan.
I understand.
And she helps me grow and become the person I want to become. Situation, and instead decided to be a content creator.
I'm so sorry.
It's crazy, bro. It's New York.
Sorry.
A fight, and it's
not what I want.
Absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
So then let me follow that up by, because I've heard that's how you started this. Exactly. Some interviews here in the world of media. Where do you want to be in 10 years, and how are you going to accomplish that?
Really, only wins. It was only success. It was only. To be honest, Casey, like what I did, there's no dish. The temple that we were at. Everything I say I do, I diss people versus showing and demonstrating and telling anecdotes well, and keep my head up and keep on trucking and bring light to YouTube.
To be totally honest, I wasn't. I want to end it with this, but hard interview. So those, I think that.
Hey, take a step back, slow down, breathe, which is it's extremely dangerous when you're.
Right, and it's that led till now, or is this looking ahead?
They love redemption stories. It's a story positive, spread a message. Culturally insensitive. When I do that shit, did that shit everywhere
for good PR. And now after like watching,
is focused more on.
Thanks for doing a straight interview.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Casey.
Is it not? Is this momentum, this autopilot? Where's the distinction between?
And truth.
So your excuses may be valid, but it doesn't excuse the. I appreciate it.
Degrading woman. We don't have plans for it. We don't plan on like profiting off it. If for whatever.
Are you gonna monitor?
The month off was.
And it's now been a full week since I did the interview. And
human being and forget about views.
Instead, like to use that same
living life on the edge. Do you understand?
I do.
Make that story because someone's gonna want to make that story. People have wanted to make that story. Why let someone? I am a fucking kid.
What is the fight?
It's true.
What is the fight?
I'm gonna beat his ass.
I'm a big boxer. I've been boxing for like the action.
Does not at all. And
being like frustrated, or is this part of the new Logan Paul? Without getting into too much nuance, the culture of Pokemon is tweeted that I like that video and I got shit for it.
Thank you.
But did it wanting to inspire and
know what it means to PSAs like that? It's the
general and the size of his audience. Do you think is noble? Wanting to motivate.
I don't even want to say it. But
when a moon comes in front of you,
know that if we do decide to monetize it,
since the
a small town in Ohio,
want to do that is not. You know, with his verbal exchange, like he went to a really crazy place. I don't agree with that conflation.
Okay. I'm always up for a challenge. I thought, honestly, for me, that's why I'm a brand.
It was also not edited. This is the entire 30-minute conversation. Move on. If there's more you want to say,
no, it's just because, I
expect people
what this whole thing is about.
Are you
just what I'm learning?
Is this a fluff piece to make people feel better about Logan Paul?
No, not at all. It's to be caught right now with you because up until that point in my life,
your peers, your friends, laughing and snickering and
focus my efforts on something else so I can become a different guy.
A bit of context to this interview. I want to explain why did this interview.
Be a
I do appreciate your frankness.
But at the same time, You can work hard. America in general is afraid to do though.
A different person now than you were.
Yeah, am I the victim or claiming to be the victim? I don't have any interest in that. The goal for me here is to beat him. Okay, so this is looking ahead, yes, but because you know someone or lose someone who has died by suicide, so it was an attempt for me to.
Hey guys, welcome. So today I'm going to be reacting to Cookie Girl. Yeah, and let's just get right into it. Okay? Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay. So there's a man staring at a screen. Okay. Yeah. And he's noticing there are like cookies on the table and little crumbs. And this is making him feel something, I guess. And the cookies, they're like all crumbled up. So I guess like someone ate them, which I think is a really not nice thing to do to someone's cookies. And they're like leaving this trail. And he thinks it's weird, I guess. He's making these faces. Okay, so he's like following the cookie trail. Like it's going to lead him somewhere. Probably to like the culprit. Oh! Oh, it's me! I'm right there. I'm in the video. I was just laying there. That's really fun. That's really fun. I had the cookies all along. Oh, wow. Oh, that was fun. That was really cool. Okay, well, yeah. I guess that's it. Well then, yeah, goodbye.